Now that we got everything installed, we are ready to connect our Python script to work with the Postgres database. By the end of this lecture, you will understand what PsychoPG library is, how to install this, and how to write a Python script that will connect to the Postgres database. You will also learn how to handle errors and close the connection properly. Before we get into it, let us see what PsychoPG library is. It is a Python library that helps us to connect to a Postgres database. It's built on top of the PostgreSQL powerful client. PsychoPG is the most popular Postgres database adapter for the Python programming language. Its main features are the complete implementation of the Python database API specifications, and it is thread safe. Let's move over to the Jupyter Notebook, install this library, and start working with this module. The PsychoPG library contains all the necessary packages and modules that are required for working with the PostgreSQL database. There are two versions available for this library, the PsychoPG and PsychoPG binary. We will use the binary version as it is pre-compiled and easy to use. The non-binary version requires some kind of compilation. If you are not familiar with compiling C extensions, better to use the binary version. To use this library, we need to first install it. Pip install psychopg-binary. This will download and install the library and all its dependencies. So the library is installed and we see the version 3.2.6 is installed now. And once the installation is complete, we need to restart the kernel. So let's go to the menu, click kernel, select restart kernel and restart it. Now the kernel is restarted and we are all set. Sometimes after the successful installation and restart of the kernel, still the module may not be available for use. This could be because this library got installed in a different environment than where you are working with. In such cases, install the library with this command. And once your installation is success, just to confirm, import the module psychopg and print the version. You will get 3.2.6. It is same as the version that you just installed. If your version number is printed properly, that means your installation is successful. So what this library provides us? It gives us the tools to connect to the database, write SQL queries, and get data from Postgres into Python. So we are all set now. Now let's start writing the Python script that will connect to the PostgreSQL database. So let's start by importing the psychopg module. The first thing we need to do is to create a connection object. Connection equals psychopg.connect. And to this method, we need to pass some attributes. There are different kinds of attributes that we pass to this method based on the kind of database what we use. But some of the most common attributes that we pass are host, port, database, user, and password. The host is the machine in which the database is running. Port is the port number in which the database is listening to. And database is the name of the database. User is the user ID with which we connect to the database. And password is the password for that user name. Since here our database is running in the same machine as we run this Python program, so we give the host as localhost. During the installation, if you remember, we gave the port number as 5432. This is the port number in which Postgres database will be listening to. And this is the port number we have to give it here. PostgreSQL can have multiple databases, and we have to specify the name of the database to which we want to connect. Let's come to this in a while. The username is the user ID with which we connect to the database. And if you remember, when we installed the database, we had a super user named Postgres. And that's the name we are going to give here. And we gave a password for this super user during the installation. And that's the value we are going to give here. So we have got all the attributes provided except the database name. So we need to create a database before we connect to it. For the time being, I will specify a database which is already created, training DB. Later we will see how we can create a database and use that database for our connections. If you are using PsychoPG version 2, this attribute name we can use it as database. But in PsychoPG version 3, this is changed to DB name. So you have to make sure which version of PsychoPG 2 you are using, and you have to use the corresponding attribute name for the database. If it is version 2, it should be database. If it is version 3, it should be DB name. Now with all the required attributes given, we can connect to the database. But how can we make sure that we connect to the database successfully? We can run some simple queries to test whether your connection is successful or not. So let's say connection.execute, select current date. The select current date is an SQL query that will fetch the current date from the database. And this will return a tuple and we put it in a result. We will then print the result. Let's run this, shift enter. So it returns the current date. So this way we can make sure that our connection to the database is successful. We are not done yet. We need to do one final thing. Since we have opened a connection, after all the executions, we have to close the connection properly. So we will say connection.close. After the execution of everything, the connection will be closed successfully here. So let's run this. We get the date printed, and now this time the connection is closed. This is just a raw code we have written, just to test whether our Python script is able to connect to the Postgres database. We can refine this code in a much better way to write a robust data access code by handling exceptions, closing the connections automatically, and a lot of other things. Let us do all those steps in the subsequent lectures. For now, we have successfully imported the PsychoPG library and connected to the Postgres database. In the next lecture, we will learn how to create a database in the Postgres server. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I would love to hear from you, your thought on this tutorial. Please leave your comments at the bottom. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.